record that if that's all right with everybody. Is that okay?
Yes.
That's fine.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we're going to go ahead and get started. So this afternoon, and I'm Joyce Kavalik, and I'm the Associate Registrar. And today we are going to talk about the course schedule preparation and some of the critical items that we need to do to be sure that we are in compliance with our schedule and that, we have the correct information for the students for registration. Can everybody see this screen with the guidelines to execute the production of the course schedules?
Yes.
No, I lost it. So you can see the document, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Okay, so if we're ready, we're going to go ahead and get started. And so we are going to first just kind of look at some of the critical items that we want to make sure that we have in place so that we have the correct schedule, and then we don't have any errors when the UNC system data mart runs and we end up with a bunch of errors. So we're going to go ahead and kind of discuss or go over these guidelines. So that for those of you that are not familiar with a few of the items, and I'm sure there's plenty of you that are familiar, but we're going to go ahead and address those kinds of things that might cause some issues down the road. So in our guidelines, we want to be sure that the schedules are completed in its entirety, meaning, we need to have buildings and rooms for on-campus classes. We want to make sure you have proper days and times and the instructors assigned. So we want to make sure everything is aligned up to the method of the course teaching. The other second part, I did provide to all of the departments and the deans, as well as administrative persons, the course schedule, these guidelines, as well as the days and the times that are approved by the institution to offer classes, as well as the master course schedule for you to start reviewing and making updates and changes as necessary. So we want to be sure that any modifications and things are completed and all items are matching so that we are in compliance. Want to make sure that the course scheduling policies, the class schedule is consistent with the policies. As stated, we did give you the charts for the days and the times so that all courses across the board can be scheduled appropriately. As you know, there have been all kinds of talk of different methods of teaching. So when you are developing the scheduling, you would want to make sure that you maximize your student scheduling options and reducing your overall classroom demand by utilizing standard class hours and encouraging a more even distribution of your daytime and evening offerings. Also, too, I've just discussed this, but the standard class hours should be followed, and those were attachments that Mr. Markey put in the email to this session, as well as we have sent those to the chairs, the deans, and the administrative folks. And so, and then it again is stated that we have recognized that there may be academic and pedagogical reasons for scheduling classes at a non-standard hours and/or days. The big, hugest thing is to remember is to do not assign classes on Tuesday and Thursday at 10:40 a.m. Those are scheduled for any kind of faculty, staff, student types of meetings that might be scheduled for during those periods of time. Any questions so far? Okay. So in item number 7, we are talking about identifying our service learning courses. And so what we do is we identify them in our section, meaning let's say I'm doing accounting 2400, section SL1, SL meaning service learning. So want to make sure that if you have courses that are identified as service learning courses, that you do it during this review process in preparation for registration. Once students get registered in a course and then it is discovered that it should have been a service learning course, we are now running into issues because in order to correct the course, we would need to drop all of the students involved, correct the course with the right section, and then reinstate those students. So please take a moment to review before registration begins. Somebody we need to mute, please. Okay. Okay. Are there any questions about identifying the service learning classes? Anybody? Okay. Also, too, for those that are kind of new with this, we also identify writing intensive classes with a W in the section. Also, speech intensive is with an S in the section. So it'd be like O1S, O1W, meaning writing or speech intensive. So we also identify those courses such as in that manner as well. For our departments, we are scheduled the courses to be updated and ready to go for the dean's approval by Friday, February the 22nd. And it's actually Monday, the 22nd, not Friday, the 22nd. So Monday, the 22nd is when these will need to be due. I do apologize. The deans then are scheduled to approve the schedule. So we are ready for priority registration on March 1. The date for that would be February the 26th. Is there any questions so far on just the basic guidelines? Nobody? Okay. Okay. So when you're, you're building your class schedule, you'll see that we have a small chart here with schedule types, the description of it, the instructional method, and the description of the instructional method. And when we develop these courses in our banner catalog inventory, we also this also will follow when you add a class or you're changing a class, unless you are making it different. Now, you can disregard this hybrid last item here. We will show you how to identify your hybrid courses without using this method right here. Just some kind of a note, when you're doing a practicum and research courses, they may be assigned buildings without the rooms because you might want to have them be working in a building, doing some research, but they cannot be assigned to rooms without a building. So keeping that in mind, those would be data mart errors. And as we're talking about, these schedule types are built in SAWSECT, which is the banner form that we will do the scheduling. So, so you'll see what we'll talk about here in just a few minutes when we go over the actual sessions. So the mini sessions are for the fall semester in the part of term are FA1. Fall session 1 is August the 16th through October the 9th, 2021. And the second mini session for the fall of 2021 is FA2, October the 13th through December the 8th, 2021. Going back to the discussion, again, be sure that you're reviewing your courses. Be sure that you are identifying them to be in the right session, because if this semester starts, you have students in there and you discover it should be an FA2 and not an FA1, all of the students would have to be dropped, the course would have to be corrected, and the students would have to be re-entered. So be sure to review very carefully, making sure that your courses are either through the whole semester or whichever session they may be in. Okay? Any questions about that? No questions? Okay. So those that might need access to Banner 9, you can click this link on here. It will give you the form for academic services. We have built all the scheduling into this form, so you would have modified access. But if you have any questions, you certainly are welcome to call Mr. Mark White at 6208 or myself at 5131. So before we move along, is there any questions about the form? Anybody? No one? No questions? Okay. So if there's no questions, then we're going to go ahead and pull up the spreadsheet that we sent to you all with our master courses on here. And I do need to, are you all able to see the the spreadsheet?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, very good. Okay, so what we are going to do is, as you can see on the spreadsheet, let me bring it all the way up here for you. You will see we have our part of term, and this is the schedule that you had last fall. It has been rolled to this upcoming fall 2021. The CRNs that you see on your document are the actual brand new CRNs that you will be working with in the event that you need to make schedule adjustment. I do want to make note to you all that the online class schedule has been sent to Dr. Pfeiffer McKee over in the Extended Studies office to further give instructions to the deans and the chairs as it relates to new information for online classes. So what you have in front of you in the departments at this time are just the classes that were taught on campus last semester. And as you go across, you can see quite a bunch of them were actually totally taught online. And today we're going to actually show you how you can set your system, your course up to reflect the hybrid. So this is something new that we were able to put together to help identify. The provost will be able to identify it as well as Data Mart and the UNC System Office. So we can see how many courses we're actually teaching hybrid and those kinds of items. So is there any questions about your spreadsheet? As you notice here too, we had the Saturday classes for last semester. We're not going to have those. So this office will work to remove those Saturday classes, so that will not be on your schedule. So we'll try to have a mass process run to remove those from the fall schedule for you. So is there any questions about the spreadsheet so far? Anyone? Okay. So
Ms.
if there's no
Cavalli.
question, hello?
Ms. Cavalli, this is Ms. Howard. I've already started working on putting my schedule in and started taking the Saturdays off.
Okay.
It won't.
It won't hurt.
Okay, because
It
I'm
won't
almost
hurt.
done.
Yeah. So if there's nothing there, that's fine. We're just going to try to do a mass removal of it. We did a mass to put them on there. We'll put a mass, to take them off. So yeah, that's fine, Ms. Howard.
Okay.
Yeah. Your help is appreciated. Okay. So this morning we worked with a course in the criminal justice, and we're taking you through how to work this process in Banner. And we're going to take you all the way through the reviewing of the course, and then how to actually inactivate a course, and then how to go ahead and add a course. So we're going to take you through those steps here. And anytime you have a question, just jump in and ask the question. So I'm going to move this spreadsheet over to the side, and I'm going to work with this Criminal Justice 235002. And that will be my testing, and I'll have to be sure I clean that up after we get done with our session. So I am going to lower this, and I'm going to go ahead and lower that. And I'm going to bring you now to Banner, and we're going to go ahead and go through this process. Make sure I'm getting Banner. Can you all see Banner?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Okay, so today we're going to again, let me see. Let me just start this here from for navigation for those that are not familiar. So the form that we will be using in Banner they're called admin pages is SSA SECT. Let me make that capital for you. And that's the schedule. It's commonly known as SAWSECT, but it's SSA SECT, and this is the schedule Banner page. Okay. So when you're coming up in your key block, you're going to put your term in. For the fall semester, it's going to be 2022-10. That's fall 2021. And then we're going to go ahead and I'm going to put in that CRN course for the criminal justice that is already in place for the fall. So we're going to use that as our review course for this session. Okay. All right. So now we have completed every item here in what we call our key block. And over to our right, we have the go. If you are a keyboard person, you could do Alt page down, which would bring you to the next piece in Banner, or just click on your blue go button here. Okay. So as you can see, this is the front end form of the schedule of the course. And the tab here is called the course section information. As you can see, we have our subject, we have our course number, the title, the section number. This is a campus. This class I have inactivated right now, but I'm going to activate it so we can move along with this session. So I'm going to activate this class so that you can see how this piece works, and then we'll take it backwards into how to inactivate the class. Okay, so generally this would be a traditional course. However, if you have decided that you are going to teach it hybrid, you can notate it with HYB in the instructional method. That now tells the student that it's face-to-face/internet. So, and also to this instructional method will also match this campus code in order for this not to be an error in data mark. Okay. So we're going to leave it as hybrid right now. That has been one of the highly talked about items of identifying these hybrid courses. So the time to do this is now before we get students scheduled. Once students get scheduled in your class, again, everybody has to be dropped out and then the course corrected and then these students reinstated. So I know we don't want to do that. So we'll just please review before we start registration on March the 1st. Okay. So that's in your middle column. Now on your third column, be careful with the grade mode code. If you're putting an A there as for audit, that means the person cannot grade the course, nor will the student get charged for the course. So all courses are generally the S for the standard letter grade. And there are just a very, very minute few instances where you have a pass-fail course, but the majority of them are standard. So watch that, because sometimes I have to run a report to make corrections before registration starts because someone has inadvertently put an A out there for audit. You do not need to do anything with this session. It doesn't hurt for you to put in the information, but it is not required.
Excuse me, Ms. Cavalli.
Yes.
I'm sorry to keep interrupting you, but
Not a problem.
I've been given a schedule with all room numbers for the fall. We're not doing it for the summer. So if things change, because I'm not putting in the course as a hybrid, I'm just putting it in regular, how would that affect us?
Okay, so right now you're setting up a course as regular.
Yes, because
You're having a building and a room. You're not teaching it online.
Correct.
Okay.
That's what I've been told for the fall.
Okay. So you're not teaching anything online like, in normal on-campus class and using building and room as ONLI. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So if indeed you're still going to do that, you will still follow that same practice. However, if they want you to actually teach the class, it's not going to be a hybrid. It's going to be your regular, on campus, going to the classes. Then you have to make sure you put that building and that room and schedule your days and your times.
I have all that information, but my concern is if, say, the pandemic gets worse. I mean, I'm hoping it won't, but and they decide that they're not going to do in class. Um,
We did not have I see what you're saying. So you're just saying in the event they want to switch it back over to online. We didn't seem to have a problem with that when we were able to, we did a mass load of those classes that were for online. So that worked out okay. Hopefully we do not have to do that again. But that seems to be okay if you're a person that does handle the update of the system. It's very easily done to make both of those ONLI.
okay.
You'd want to make sure you take out the room first and then the building and then do that because ONLI doesn't like it if there's a room in there, so.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, that part is not difficult to do. It might be a lot of it, but it's not difficult to do. You don't have to drop
Okay.
students out in that particular case.
Okay then. Thank you.
Uh-huh. So again, going back to the session, you do not have to do this piece right here. It's not necessary, but you can certainly do that. I would like to make note that you see these little 3 dots that are next to each of your items that have values behind them, and that gives you the selections available for that particular item. So again, we don't need to worry about that, but you can if you like. Now, with special approval, you can identify a section that you don't want everybody to be into it without some special permission. It could be the department chairperson needs to approve it. It could be an advisor. It could be maybe it's an honors class and they want to make sure just the honors chairperson is approving. Could be a class whereby which an instructor must approve, and so on. So this would be the time to be sure that you set up the special approval right here. Now this particular field, if you feel later on down the road it's not necessary, you might have started with that, you can remove it. Use your delete over here with your cursor in here, and you can remove that and save it. You would not have to, it won't affect you with any of the students, okay? So coming here, I'm going to mention down here, we have our arrow keys, which takes us from each block throughout our banner page. Okay, so I like to just pretty much stick my cursor in there, but you can take your arrow key, which, oh, it took me too far. Okay. And we're going to go here now under the class type. So here is where your part of term is going to show up. So this particular class is for the whole semester. And you will see it's from August the 16th through December the 8th. And this is where this will show up. If you have an FA1 course or an FA2 course, this is where this information will show up. Okay? So I want to be sure, again, that you are comfortable with your courses. They are in the right session. For this fall term, you might see a UN1 and a 1 for your courses. They both mean the same thing. When we had to change our dates in the last fall semester, we had to make the university as UN1 because the law school was the entire other, was our original session. So we would have lost a lot of classes during the rollout if we did not, just adjust the dates for these 2 session codes, but they both mean the same thing. Okay. Now, is there any questions about this piece so far? Okay, if there's none, we'll move along here to the credit hour section. So this section is already, it populates and fills in because again, it's built when we we place the approved class in our catalog, banner catalog inventory. So this class is valued at 3 credit hours. If the billing hours is for 3 and the contact hours are 3, and if you come over here to your right, you will see that the lecture is for the 3 hours. So we want to make sure that that's correct. The other part that you would want to do for your theses and your variable courses, generally they are out here as 1 to 6 or 1 to 3 or 3 to 6 or some manner as such the way it was approved. So this is where you're going to decide whether if you have like a thesis and you want that particular section to be 3 credit hours and your students that are selected for 3 credit hour thesis are the only ones going to be in that section, then you can set this up to be 3 hours. But if you want that section to be left alone and make it a variable 1 to 6, then the students would be able to register for whichever hour amount has been approved for their thesis and research. Okay, so that's important, but this is already comes in already filled. Again, that's coming from the inventory file. Okay, now that covers this piece of it. Is there any questions as it relates to the credit hour piece? Okay, none. We'll go on here down to the class indicators. And so really in the middle section here is where we are saying that it's okay to print it on a schedule or in a transcript. It is gradable. It can be, this is available for grading for the faculty. And then it's also the bottom one is also available for persons to see the course on banner SSB or out on the unsecured or secured class section search. Any questions on this part? None? Okay. So we're going to go on to the second tab called the section Enrollment Information. And I'm going to click that on. This is where you are going to set up the number of students that you would like to have in your class. That would be the maximum of your enrollment. This is where you would set that up. Okay. Now we're going to click on the third tab for the meeting times and instructors. Okay. So this one here, remember I had inactivated the class. So now I'm going to go ahead and activate the class and the days and the times. So if you have your cursor in the meeting time and you just tab it over, your meeting type and your start date and end date will automatically populate. Then you can proceed on to put in your days and your time, and I'm going to make this one. I know the real information, but I'm just going to do this for this practice. So we're going to set this up for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And we are going to do a save. So you can save down here in your lower right-hand corner, or for those of you who like to use the keyboard, F10 will save as well. I'll use the, okay, so this is saying I have an invalid, oh, I know why. Let me back up. Let me back up. Okay. Okay. Click on the meeting times and the instructors. Okay. I gotta save that. I know why. First of all, folks, we have to make it active, so we gotta make sure we do that. Okay, now we'll go back to the meeting times and instructors. We're gonna tab over to populate the meeting type, the start date, and the end date. We're going to select our days. We'll do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then we're going to come here and put in our start time and our end time. These times are in military time. On the schedules that we submitted to you all, we have also not only the military time, but also the civilian time. So we're just going to make this for 10 a.m. to 10:50 a.m. and we're completed here, we're going to go ahead and do a save. All right. The next thing we're going to do is move ahead to the building location and the credit tab. And here is where you're going to go ahead and put your building in the room. Remember, if you're doing hybrid, you must do the building and you must do the room. So I forgot what the CJB, I think, JB. Okay. And I think I'm going to take a guess at this room. Okay, so now this class is all ready to go. I can save it. And I now have our meeting times, the building and the room, schedule type, all this information is populated. Is there any questions of this piece so far? Anybody?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And then the next thing we're doing is we're adding our instructors. So again, you can use your arrows that are down here in the lower left-hand corner, or you can just stick your cursor in there and tab it over and put in the instructor's banner ID. And then you put that in there, and or you can search by their last name and their first name. Most preferably to know the banner ID. I'm just going to put me in just for a second. Let's see. Just for a second. So you see I'm populated, and then my percent of my responsibility would be 100%. I am the primary instructor, and you can go ahead and you can insert other instructors in here as well. So any number of them you can put in there. Their percent of their responsibility will not be 100%. You can make that 25% or whatever. Sometimes folks have the chairpersons attached to each course so they can do some viewing if they need to, in the system. So, but anyway, this is how you go ahead and that you can add more instructors to the class. Any questions about this? None?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So if we're good with that, then we are going to go ahead and show you how to inactivate a course, which when we do this, we're going to go backwards. So now we're at the tail end where we have the instructor. This is where we begin our process to inactivate the course. So as you can see, my name is there. I'm going to go over here to my right, and you'll see where you have an insert, you have a delete, you have a copy, and you have a filter. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to delete out the instructor and save it. And if you notice up here, as we've been saving, you'll see little messages are coming up. So save successfully. We're good there. And then we're going to come up. We must delete the days and the times as well. So we're going to come over here to our little delete button. We're going to delete that, and we're going to save it. Again, our message comes up. We have saved that successfully. Now we're ready to actually go back to the very first page of the form, and we're now ready to go ahead and inactivate your course. And so where you see here in the center column, where we have the campus and then the status, this is where we are going to change that to an I, and we're saving that. Now this course is inactivated. You do not want to delete a course, because once you delete it, you cannot recapture it again and reactivate it in the event that you need to offer that section maybe sometime down the road. We can pull reports off of inactive courses, so if somebody wants to ever know how many courses they inactivated for the semester, that information is always available. Now, keeping in mind that as the departments are responsible to continually review their courses, especially once we get through the add drop period. So any courses that have no enrollment in them, they automatically should be inactivated, because we have to have a very clean slate of courses for a data mark. When the UNC system needs the information, we cannot have courses out there with zero enrollment out there. That will create that creates errors. So we do not want errors. If you haven't done so, the registrar's office runs reports, and we also inactivate them here in our office, keeping in mind that persons that should be in theses and those kinds of things, that they work to get all of that in place during the add drop period. We've had a time or two where somewhere along the line they realized they needed to be in a thesis, and then we had inactivated the theses, and then approval has to be granted again now to open that back up in order for that student to be approved, to be put into the thesis. So any course, you just want to make very, very sure that, everything is in order. Key thing and all of these items that we are talking about is the minimization of having to do a lot of cleanup. We had to do a lot of cleanup with the courses this time in Data Mart. And so it was a lot of dropping a lot of classes, students from classes, then fixing the course and putting the students back in. So we would like to totally avoid that information. So having said that, is there any questions about this piece so far? Anybody? No questions?
Paula,
Okay.
I have a question. This is Catherine Parrott.
Uh-huh.
When you mentioned the part about hybrid,
Uh-huh.
that particular course should have listed a room number and location, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am. Because they
so
have to know where they're going when they are actually on the campus.
Okay, so if you know that it's going to be a hybrid course, should you put remarks in there regarding the instructor will determine when the course will meet, or
You can,
because it won't meet every single
no, and that
time.
is supposed, there should be instructions coming down to the deans and chairs how the instructors are to lay this information out in their syllabi. So that would be definitely one of the places they're supposed to identify when and where, they're going to be on the campus and or, being taught online. So that information, it doesn't hurt to put it in the text. For those of you who want to know how to do the text, let's go over here to up to the top. You'll see we have a on the blue menu line, we have what's called related, and this takes us to many of the other pieces that go with the course schedule form. This morning, I did not actually cover this part here too much because we don't really get into too much at you all's level. However, mentioning what Ms. Parrott was just saying, you could go to the text line. Here's the course. There's the CRN. We're going to do a go. And this is where you can put something in the text saying that you could even say this is going to be a hybrid course, something to that effect. You can type that here. Okay, and that way when they're doing a course section search, they can see, yeah, now it's coming out at me again, it will be hybrid, some kind of whatever you would like to do there. There's no problem in doing so. Okay. Now, someone asked this morning, how could they see a list of their classes that's being offered for this semester? So what we're going to do then, and I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with tools here in Banner, but we're going to go ahead and show you a method and a way to at least see your courses. You can see if they're hybrid, if they're traditional, or if they're whatever. We're going to do a filter. So when we're going to do a filter here, we're just going to, we don't need the CRN there. We're going to use the 3 dots here and do our drop down, which is going to bring us to a filter here. We can do any kinds of parameters. Okay, so for the term, we're going to select the fall, which is 2022 10. And we are going to come over here, and just because we've been working with criminal justice, we're just going to select subject, and we're going to key in the subject code here, which is CRJU. And then we don't want to worry about another field, but you could add something else and make it a little bit more minute, which would be the course number or whatever you want to do. And you can add on all of these fields if you care to do a search. But we're just going to click on the subject for criminal justice for the fall of 2021. And then here in our little box, we're going to do a go. And so what you see here is all of the courses that is being offered for the fall of 2022. Now, as you can see here, this particular course is inactivated. That's the one that we were working with earlier. And you can see we had set that up as hybrid. But this course here, we inactivated it, and so you can see that as well. Or you could just isolate it and say, I only want active sections. So then again, you would do that in your filter, okay? One other good feature to Banner, and many of the pages in Banner, if you go over here to Tools, you have the ability to pull most of these pages into a Excel spreadsheet. So if you're clicking on Export, and you're coming on down here, it's already pulled the data into your spreadsheet. You see over here, your left hand, lower left corner, and we'll bring that up. And I'm going to lower this guy and bring this guy over here and share that. Make sure I'm sharing the right thing. Can you see that? Hello?
Yes.
So this is the output that we just pulled from Banner of the criminal justice courses for the fall of 2021, I'm sorry. All right. And so you can manipulate this data however you like. You can see over here, we have our total enrollment. We have how many are actually enrolled in the class, which right now is 0, and how many you had set up as your maximum enrollment. So you can actually save this and you can manipulate this information if you just something quick and dirty. Okay, let me see how many you can see we have our instructional method here. How many of my courses are online on the web, or what is it, what do I have going on here? And I don't know, you could work out percentages in any number of things you could do with this information. This is also a good way to see, okay, I remember that we inactivated Criminal Justice 2350 Section 2, but now I need it. So you could actually come here and you could set up your parameter to say I want inactive courses, and then you could pull this up and you'll get your CRN, and you can go ahead and move forward and reactivate the class. So it's got a lot of good features here. It does not have the instructor name, but it gives you lots of other good information. So it's a quick and easy way to see, how you're teaching it, and that kind of thing. So, but it's helpful to do. Is there any questions about this? Hello?
Hi, Ms. Skofalik. This is Linda from the biology department.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you please go back and show me how to get the courses for the department? I'm sorry, I got distracted by the phone.
Okay, are you what we're just working with right now? Is that what you're trying to do?
No, I understand how to export it to get into the spreadsheet. Yes,
Okay.
this stage.
So we're
How
going to
did
do
you
it.
this?
Okay. So we'll go back to, let's just say we're on SOTSEC. Okay. So we're on the main form, well, that's SOTSEC, sorry. Okay. So we're on SOTSEC. So you want to go ahead and do a search on your parameters. So again, we have in our key block, we have our term, and then we're going to take out that CRN. We don't need that. So we're going to do our little drop down, which will bring where you can do any kind of parameters that you like. We do know we're going to look at the fall semester, which is 2022-10, and we're going to come over. If you knew the CRN, you could key that in here, but we're going to add some fields, okay? So let's say you wanted the subject of, let's say, CRJU, and then we'll add another field. Let's say, are you interested in your department? Is that on here? Let me see.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I'm looking too fast here. Hold on. I'm not seeing the department on here. Probably, oh yeah, all the campuses here. You would have to, let's just put in 2350. I don't see the, oh, hold on just a second here. Let's see.
Oh, you okay?
No, I'm not seeing where the, the department, but you could run it like this. This now shows you the two classes for criminal justice 2350. Are you there? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Thank
Okay.
you.
Is that answering that for you?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Is there any other questions?
No. I answered. I just
So Ms. Cavallo, this is Catherine again.
It's
So there's
wrong.
no way to pull up or include the instructor with this Excel spreadsheet that we because I sometimes highlight the actual banner schedule to do mine, but if it's easier to do it this way with the course
yeah.
section and the instructor, that would be really good.
Yeah.
Okay,
Let
and
me.
Normally I'm going to check, and I tell
Somebody,
them that
somebody needs to be muted, please. Thank you.
No, we were just going to get ready to get out of there.
Okay. Can you all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I was trying to answer the question. I'm going to have to figure out, let's see. I'm going to have to see about checking into this piece, and because you're trying to hook up the instructor for each of the classes. So that is going to be something I'm going to need to check for you. Let me see something here. No, that's not going to work. It's going to be just this, just only one person. So that's not going to work. I'll have to check into that. But I did want to share with you all that we are working to the file that I use, my program, to pull the reports that I give you. I'm going to make those available on Argos, which is the dashboard that approved persons can use to pull data. So I'm going to have to put you to hold just one second. Sorry, doctor appointment thing. Okay, so I will check on that for you, but I do want you to know that we have built Argos reporting so that you could be able to pull this information whenever you like, and that shouldn't be too much longer available for the departments to be able to access. So that will help you out as well. And also keep in mind, at some point, whenever you are ready for a complete review, we would be very, very happy to run another schedule for you so that you can see before you turn it over to the dean. So just let us know when you're ready, and we will be happy to do that for you. Any more questions, anyone? And just note that anytime you need help, Mr. Mark White, he has joined us. He is replacing Miss Nicole Jackson in our office as the Business Tech Application Technician. He has been really great and instrumental, so we want to utilize his expertise as well, and we hope that we can make this a very smooth transition for anyone. And again, call us whenever you need us, and we'd be happy to try to assist you in your completion of your schedules.
Ms. Cavalli,
Yes.
like your schedule for the fall, they still got Saturday classes listed. I may have
Yes,
missed
sir.
it.
Yes, sir. We're having those removed.
Okay, you already removed
Yes.
that. Okay, all right.
Well, we haven't removed them yet, but we will have them removed.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Mhm.
While it's
Wait,
that,
Go ahead.
this is Natasha from Bright.
Hey, Miss Natasha.
Hi, how are you? Just want to confirm and clarify. So for all the hybrid courses, we're identifying them as hybrid through the process you just showed us. And then for all the courses that want to remain ONLI, we just do what we've done in the past with going ahead and
Right.
just putting ONLI, right? Is that correct?
Exactly. But you're going to keep the campus code of A and traditional. Okay, that will stay the same unless it's that should be primarily the categories. If you're not doing hybrid, okay,
If I'm not doing hybrid.
you can't put hybrid and then ONLI and ONLI, okay?
Okay.
That's just something different. We have been approved by the UNC System Office to be allowed for these instances as we're going through this, pandemic stuff, that we are eligible to do the building in the room in this manner, even though it's an on-campus class. So because if it was a true online class, there would be no necessity to do ONLI, because it is a true online class. But it's been approved to do this method in this way. Just want to make sure that is the method that's going to go. And again, if you have to make an adjustment, this is not an instance where you would have to delete students off their roll and then reinstate them once it's corrected. So this is not one of those instances.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Again, Ms. Cavalli, just to clarify, we sort of like operating like we did this spring.
Yes, yes, similar way, only you have now a way to identify when you're doing hybrid. And
Okay.
or if you're just doing online, unless you're getting different directions from your dean, we are following the same concept as this spring.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Again, I must reiterate, double check your service learnings, your writing intensives, your speech intensives, all of those to make sure that your sections are correct. Again, if they're not correct and you have to make a correction and students are registered, they will have to all be dropped out, the section corrected, and then they have to be reinstated. So try to be very careful, in the front end, so that is not going to have to be a necessity, especially. Go ahead.
Cavalli, yeah, quick question. You refer to this Argos reporting. What is that?
Well, that is like we use web-focused managed reporting right now to pull our reports out of Banner. So the university is transitioning over to Argos, which is, if you have been on, you might have had Eagle Analytics. There's been any number of different types of reports put out on dashboards for units to use. The newest one is Argos, and they're built on dashboard, different reports that different areas can pull, such as the course schedule. So this is a dashboard tool used for reporting. You set up the parameters that you would like. The coding has already been built in the background, and then you run it, whatever you're looking for to pull, and you can pull it into Excel or into regular, other types of, methods of pulling the information. So that is coming here very, very soon.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Is there anything else that you all might have a question about, or are you understanding it okay, or should we talk about it any further, or you kind of okay with it right now?
Ms. Cavallo, this is Sharon White.
Hello, Dr. White.
How are you today?
I'm all right, ma'am.
Great. The question I have, so we have the traditional face-to-face, and the section numbers are like 0102
Yes,
or
ma'am. Exactly.
SO1. Okay. And then we have the online
Well,
courses, which are distance education, and that's OL 1, 2, or 3, or whatever.
it would be, oh, you mean for service learning?
No, if it's
Oh.
just strictly distance education.
Okay, they all are with OL 1,
Okay.
OL 2, or it could be OLS, meaning speech intensive, OLW, writing intensive. I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but Dr. Pfeiffer McGee has the online courses for the fall semester. She
Yeah.
has that report, and she will be issuing that with some instructions to you all. There's been some discussions about some other different modalities of teaching, and I think she's trying to communicate all that with you. I only was trying to make sure with the hybrid piece, because this does associate with the on-campus classes, but you're correct, Dr. White.
I guess my question,
Uh-huh.
I guess my question is probably about the other two modalities. So the hybrid, one of the definitions that we received was that the hybrid is at least 25% of your class will meet face-to-face on campus. And then what we did the last couple of semesters when we pivoted, it was the ONLI, wherein we were teaching remotely, remote instruction.
Everything was, yeah. So
how do we code that?
See, if you're talking about switching in midstream.
No, so I guess is it
so if you're
possible? Do we not do that? The
No. So OLs are strictly true online classes. And the
Yes.
campus code, can you see banner here?
Yes.
Okay, so the campus code would be L for online or distant learning. So your section, which is here 02W, your section, which let's just pretend this is OL1. So this OL, mean online, this is an L, and this is going to be web, WEB. So we know that is true online. We're not going to be doing any ONLI. We don't need to do that for those, because that's identified as true online. For what we're doing, as you can see here, this one is a good example. This is a regular, it's a 02, but it's a writing intensive. It's A for on the campus. This is a 02 class on campus. The instructional method for this exercise is traditional. Now, this is a section where you could say this is ONLI in your meeting, which this one is, as you can see. So this is correct, okay? Now, but when you are coming back to the top of your form and you're deciding this is going to be the instructional method of hybrid, you must have a building and a room. They must know where they're going when they're on the campus to, report to their room. So when you're having hybrid, you're going to have the same as 01, 02, 02W, whatever it might be. The campus code will always be A. The instructional method is going to be hybrid, HYB. And then when you're coming here to your meeting times, you're actually going to have a building and a room. You cannot have this when you are doing hybrid.
Okay. I guess my question is, I understand OL, those courses are in the university system, wherein other students from other campuses can register for those courses, the
Yes,
truly
uh-huh.
distance education courses. But is there a course modality wherein a professor would teach remotely using a synchronous platform, and they do not meet on campus at all? But whatever the days are, if it's a Monday, Wednesday, Friday class or Tuesday, Thursday, they are teaching synchronously using, a platform, Blackboard or Blackboard Collaborator, Zoom, or whatever.
Okay, so that question now is going to be addressed by Dr. Pfeiffer McGee from the
Okay.
Distant Education. As you know, in ABC, we just went through all those,
Yeah.
approval for those definitions. And so in the previous meeting this morning, Dr. Mayo did let us know that some more further instructions would be coming from Dr. Pfeiffer McGee's areas to help address this discussion on those different modalities,
Okay.
as how that they are wanting it now, like we're doing hybrid here, but now will they be doing something for, synchronous and that kind of thing, so that there would be a way to identify those kinds of things as well. So I do know that that's common.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Ms. Kavalak, along that same line, for example, like in the math department, like the math 1100 was online, but it's asynchronous. Where we had time scheduled for the students actually met at that time, and they just
Right.
taught it using. That'll still be ONLI, right?
Yes, because you still want your professors to try to be, consistent with the days and the times, you know what I'm saying? So it helpful to the students.
Okay.
They know that they got a bunch of courses that might be online, ONLI, but it's helpful to them to know that they are going to be online at these times. It's different with the regular online stuff, that's different, but these folks need to know that they have a time and days that they should be online doing, what they need to be doing.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yes. You're welcome. So do we have any other questions? So feel free to give us a call, send us an email, any questions that you might have with this process. It's fairly easy to do. It's just, keeping your eye on your courses, because I said it gets to be quite a job when you have to do some corrections after the students get enrolled. And I'm not saying that then, there may not be changes coming down the road, but in the front end, we want to try to make it as clean as possible. And we're going to look it over to try to identify any issues that might be brought up as we're doing our review. Again, make very, very sure your grade mode code is not A. It always should be S, never an A for audit. And unless you have a class that is pass fail, in which case you could put a P there, which would generally populate. For most classes, for this one, you can only do an audit or a standard letter. But we are only doing standard because, again, if you don't do it, then you have a problem. One other thing I'm going to note down here in your credit hours, we have had instances where they have made the billing hours as 0. You do not want to do that, because as you do billing hours of 0, for some reason, then the student is not being charged. And again, we usually will do a review to see, make sure we don't have any courses running into that category. So you want to be careful. One note I would want to make for those people, this would be for our chairs and deans who have theses, students and theses. Now, it has been approved that students who only need like a 3-credit-hour thesis to complete their degree, it has been approved that they get financial aid, but the student would have to notify the advisor, and the advisor would have to let the registrar's office know, so that we can increase the billing hours to 4.5, so they would be able to receive financial aid, but the credits would be 3 for their instruction and for their degree program. So that's a note that I wanted to mention to, the departments regarding those people, but they have to be the ones to drive the bus to say, no, I'm going to pay it out of my pocket, but no, I want aid. So they would have to let us know which it is that they desire. So that's something fairly new within the last year.
Ms. Cavalli,
Yes,
this is Ms. Howard.
yes, ma'am.
I wanted to just kind of get your take on it because I've in previous semesters been asked to put classes on in Banner without an instructor, and I don't like doing that because I've had to drop numerous students because they never found.
Well, that is true. I would have to let you defer to your chair and the dean regarding that because, again, we're trying to get these instructors on board as quickly as possible because, we want that to be, official. Although I do understand that there's times when this information takes a little bit of time to get completed. Now, there have been times when the department chair has chosen to be assigned temporarily until the instructor of record is assigned. So that would be a discussion you'd need with your chair and the dean. One thing I do want to make note to the deans and the chairs that whenever you're having new faculty members come on board, I can no longer just take an email from you all to add the instructors to Banner as faculty. We would need to get that information from Laura Bynum, from the HR and the provost side, as they've been approved, they've been through all of the steps in HR and now are ready to be assigned in Banner as faculty. So be sure that you take that route to identify if your faculty have been approved, and then they will let us know. We put them immediately in Banner so they can be assigned to the courses. So sort of keep that in mind as you receive your new faculty, for teaching.
Ms. Kavalak,
Yes.
it's Dr. Creighton. How are you?
How you doing, Dr. Crane? Doing well.
I'm good. I have a question. I just want to be clear about the special approval.
Yes.
Because I have a lot of or several courses that students can't register for because they're, I guess, blocked, or they have to get approval from myself and or their advisor, and they really don't need that.
Okay. So just go ahead. I'm sorry.
I can take it out or just delete.
No, it's up to you, Dr. Creighton. They're your courses. You drive the bus. If you don't want it in there, you take it out of there, and then it's open for your students to register for those that would require that course. So no, that's
Okay,
just up to you. That does not, that's up to you.
Okay, all right.
Do you
I
want
think
to
I
take it
tried
out?
that. I had tried that one time and it would not leave department chair. And I couldn't, you're saying I can delete.
You might could try to do the delete. Sometimes if you just space bar it out and save it, and some of these that will work as well. But the next time you run into it, try to do your delete. First, try to do a space bar and save, and then or put your cursor in there and just see if you can do delete for that item. But generally, space bar it out and then save should generally take care of that.
Okay.
Any issues, just call the next time or shoot an email, and we can help you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Kavalak,
Yes.
this is Catherine again. I just know that when the department submit their DE forms to Paulette Morrison Banner, there's a block there where you can indicate approver or not. So just make sure that form indicates that there's no approval required.
Right.
And they'll fix that in Banner.
Right.
So
Okay.
I just want to make sure they were
those folks.
aware that the DE forms are required, and DE does put the DE courses in for the department.
Sure. Absolutely. Yes. They just need to know that you do not or you do want an approval on there. So is there any other questions? Okay. So feel free to call, email, any questions, and anyone that needs assistance with getting into Banner 9, let us know. hopefully this session helped you. And again, feel free to give us a call, email, if you need assistance with this. And whenever you are ready for a new schedule to review, let us know and we'll run that for you. And then you can make any more adjustments or be good to go. Okay, so try to have that in. I do apologize. I was looking at the 2020 calendar, but it is Monday, the 22nd, that they should be ready to go in Banner. Okay, so if there's no other questions, you all have a good rest of the afternoon, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you.